Hanging around among my childhood friends and playing with them was very troubling for me, because while they were running using their two legs, I was struggling to keep up with them with my crutches. This is where I learned about the struggle for life. While it was difficult during the process, I managed to catch up with them, to play games with them, and to change perspectives of the people.
Welcome to Migrant TV's The Inspirers program. In this program, where we want to guide young people with stories of success, we bring together athletes from many different branches of sports, from football to basketball, and from volleyball to wrestling. Our guest in this episode is the national athlete Barış Telli, who lost his right foot in a traffic accident at the age of 4 while chasing after football. Welcome to our program. Could you briefly tell us about yourself and your life story?
My name is Barış, and I am an amputee athlete. I lost my foot in a traffic accident at the age of 4, but this has never stopped my dreams. I always kept chasing my dreams. When I started the primary school and continued as an amputee, hanging around among my childhood friends and playing with them was very troubling for me, because while they were running using their two legs, I was struggling to keep up with them with my crutches. This is where I learned about the struggle for life. While it was difficult during the process, I managed to catch up with them, to play games with them, and to change perspectives of the people. When I joined the gymnastics team in primary school, I saw and felt that I could accomplish something by engaging in sports. I was inspired by the applause. While I was continuing with my life and sports this way and attending the school at the same time, I met my teacher, Derya, when she was an intern at the time. She applied too many places to help me get my prosthetic foot, thus assisting me in taking a step into life. We hadn't seen each other for years. She had left Kırıkkale, and I couldn't reach her through the phone as I was at a very young age, but I never lost her number. Years later, I received a message via social media. When I was teaching as an intern at İsmet Aydın Primary School, at a young age, there was this little boy, Barış. He'd gotten one leg amputated, and you have a smile very similar to his. Are you that Barış? I had a photograph of us that had appeared in the newspaper at the time. I kept it for years. I replied to the message of my teacher, Derya, with that photo saying, I am that Barış indeed. A lot of time passed until we lived that moment again and came together. It was a great honor for me because my teacher supported me as much as my family. I took the biggest step of my life with my teacher, Derya.
Well, what has football brought you? What has it changed in your life?
I grew up with dreams of being a football player, representing my country, participating in games, scoring goals and making people happy. I have never given up on my dreams. You do dream, but you're also aware that you're an amputee. My dream of being a football player never ended, despite knowing that I am missing a foot. It is the greatest happiness to realize this dream now and to represent my country in the games. I'm experiencing such happiness to the fullest.
We would like to talk a little about the national team. You have achieved great success in the national team. Is there a memory you cannot forget about your time at the team?
We had also certain difficulties while achieving the success. Amputee teams were not very common in the world. 3 or 5 people used to come together to become a team, followed by an application to the federation. In fact, we did not grow with the amputee, it grew with us. For example, football players such as Cristiano Ronaldo and Messi are raised within the clubs, but we did not have such a chance. So we raised the amputee. We enjoy such happiness as a country now. We have crowned all the troubles and struggles with medals. My most unforgettable memory is when I went to the World Championship. There's always strict control at the gates while traveling from here to Istanbul and from Istanbul to France. I lost my passport. We were going to take a plane to Brazil and I didn't have a passport. I was 14 years old and we'd had 7 months to prepare for our first World Championship. The team passed the gates while everybody was asking me where my passport was, which is when I realized that I lost it, and I cried a lot. We had made preparations and joined camps, and just when I got excited to go to the World Championship, I was let down. My passport was found an hour later. In that 1 hour period, the French pilot did not take off the double-deck plane with 500 seats. I heard that he said that he would not leave without the boy. My passport was found, and I also got on the plane. It was the first time that I had the opportunity to participate in the World Championship.
It sounds like it was a good memory for you. Well, what are you up to nowadays?
My priority is football. And other than football, I do a special training instead of just hanging around. I also teach. This is because I'm one of the first physically disabled persons appointed as a PE teacher. My mother told me that I had to become a teacher and that my life story should be an example for the next generation. She said to let it be passed on from generation to generation. Listening to what my mother told me, I was already a graduate from Gazi University. I took pedagogical formation training and switched to teaching. I had no predecessors. There was no physically disabled person appointed as a PE teacher. I also talked to the authorities and ministries. I was happy to be appointed and go down in history. The important thing is that my teammates also studied in that department and were appointed as teachers. It was very nice to pave a path and have people who follow that path believe that they could do the same. The important thing is to pave the way and overcome anything on the way.
So, are you good with kids?
Very good. They say our champion teacher is here when I go to school. This is very important to be an inspiration, to change perspectives. When I assigned to Gaziantep, the school was an Anatolian high school for girls. I entered the classroom where you cannot tell that I'm wearing your prosthesis, and I ask everyone, do you have a dream? If you have a dream, I want to listen to each and every one of them. I want them to share their lives, their thoughts with us. No one had asked them if they had a dream. All they ask is what they want to be. Everybody wants to be everything in this life. But if you live it in your dreams and pass it on to your world, you will overcome any future obstacles. I listen to each and every one of my students. someone told me that it was not possible to have a dream and asked me how it could be possible to get somewhere when they started from Gaziantep. The reactions I got were very negative. But there were also some who said that they wanted to be a doctor. They wanted to be like me. And that they wanted to be a PE teacher. I told them that everyone wants to be everything. But I asked if you had a dream to tell. If we can have our students embrace imagination, their perspectives towards life will also change. I asked everybody one by one, but I couldn't get the right answer to my question from anyone. Because I was able to live at a young age only when I dreamt. I was alive when I became a football player, when I wore my jersey, when I played in stadiums, and when I scored. I did not say that I was going to become a football player. I had to live in my dreams so I could reflect on them. When I couldn't get the answers that I wanted from the children, I taught them to dream. If they wanted to become a doctor, I wanted them to dream of operating a surgery. If they dreamt of going abroad, I asked them to feel like they're really there. You have to dream big. This is what I am trying to have my students embrace, rather than having them up one by one and asking their name, surname, and their father's profession. I try to bring them closer to their dreams.
Eğer kendi hayallerini devreye sokabilirsek hayatında en azından bunu kendi hayatına yansıtmış olur.
There are nearly 2 million refugee children among the millions of people who have taken refuge in Turkey due to civil war and conflicts recently. Sports are of great importance for these children's social cohesion, development, and for preventing them from becoming a lost generation. As a successful athlete and instructor, what do you recommend for the viewers of Migrant TV?
That is a very good question. If you look at the past, the newborn children of them are now 15 years old. If we isolate this child and say that you're a foreigner, a Syrian, an Afghan, etc., they will follow a certain path. Instead, we need to encourage the child. The best example of this is Mesut Özil. We should raise children with sports and arts. If we can guide you with us, we will raise individuals serving to benefit of our country. I hope this thought will pave the way for many.
Thank you very much for joining our program, Barış.
Thank you. This was a very nice program. It was nice to be with the team and with you in this beautiful atmosphere.
The guest of this week's The Inspirers was the national athlete Barış Telli. We would like to thank Barış Telli once again, who never gave up despite the difficulties he faced after a traffic accident at the age of 4. Achieved great success in pursuit of his dreams and inspired hundreds of thousands of people going through the same experience around the world. We witnessed once again how sports change a person's life and how important it's for solidarity and cohesion. See you in the next program.